Good morning, everyone, and welcome back here to Cheddar Movers. Alphabet earnings, they are on deck. The tech giant issuing results after the bell and giving insights into the first quarter, where Sundar Pichai is partially led CEO of Alphabet as a whole. Daniel Bader is the managing editor of Android Central with us this morning. Great to have you. So what's going to be for you the top theme this afternoon?
Well, I think what's going to be the most interesting thing to see is disclosure. Alphabet is now run by Google CEO Sundar Pichai. Google and Alphabet, in turn, have been notoriously opaque about disclosing particulars, including metrics about various segments within the company. Last quarter, we learned about the Google Cloud run rate for the first time. We heard that the company is investing in additional privacy features for YouTube Kids, which has come under regulatory scrutiny in recent months. And the company, I think, is feeling like it needs to be a little bit less opaque, a little bit more transparent in terms of what investors see every quarter, because it is under such a closely watched eye by the government.
Well, let's start with cloud and then get to regulation in a bit, Daniel. We saw earnings reports from Amazon last week and Microsoft in terms of cloud growth, both companies just blowing past expectations. But as you mentioned, we don't see the same disclosure with Alphabet and its Google Cloud division. Any chance we're going to maybe see some numbers about Google Cloud growth? It's widely thought that it's third in terms of market share.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see revenue numbers for the quarter. I don't think that Alphabet's ready to disclose. I don't think they're proud enough of those numbers yet. We'll hear the regular notion that they're doing great, that everything is rising quarter over quarter and year over year. And Google Cloud it's one of its fastest growing segments. We know this. It has to be just based on overall year over year revenue growth for the entire company. But I don't think that we're going to see numbers. I think what's most interesting is that this internal figure of overtaking Microsoft and even Amazon by 2023 in terms of data center and cloud market share, that is likely not obtainable, but it's something that I think Google is really focusing on.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, so you don't believe it's attainable. What would it take for Google to get there, though? How many sectors would they have to dominate? It seems like with Stadia, it seems like they might be able to at least capture that portion of the market if it's not in defense right now, if it's not in, let's say, healthcare.
Right. The Pentagon's recent deal with Microsoft, that enormous data center and cloud deal, is obviously something that Google might have wanted. I don't think Amazon is even pursuing legal action with that. I don't think it's a matter of whether Google can obtain new customers, but there are just so many customers that Amazon has that are unlikely to leave. Amazon has recently started an enormous marketing push showing the diversity of its customer base within AWS. And people now kind of understand what cloud is, what it can do, and how many companies actually rely on it just from, for your everyday internet usage. Google likely will try something similar with that, maybe a public marketing campaign to that effect. But, we're not there yet. Absolutely.
Daniel, something that Google did just last week was revert back to or change the way that it displayed search results. It got a lot of controversy at the early part of this year because its search results started looking like the advertisements that it had. Do you think that's going to be addressed? Search is still, in terms of the company's business, responsible for a significant portion of the company's revenue at this point. Do you think we'll see that addressed on the call, even though it's happening in the current quarter, not last quarter?
Well, it'll certainly be, the question will certainly be asked, right? Google has walked back those changes. In the short term, it says that it's going to be exploring ways that it can display ads without them being mistaken for organic search results. And there is no question that the change recently was to make organic search results appear more like ads and vice versa. I don't think it was meant to have people mistakenly click on ads when they try to click on organic search results, although that has been happening forever. And there have been complaints even up to the government in congressional hearings in terms of how Google really tries to obfuscate the differences between its organic and paid search results. But I do see that the company is listening, and it reacted very, very quickly to an overwhelmingly negative response to these new display ads. And I do think that they will take this to the, they will take it and come back with something a little bit less, a little bit less insidious, if you will.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, certainly it will be discussed. We'll see if management actually takes the question. Daniel Bader, managing editor of Android Central. It's always great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.